Guys, this session we are going to have the beautiful discussion about working with the object-oriented principles. As I said you, as a part of advanced Python, we are going to discuss about something like what your friend object-oriented programming capabilities. But in the previous session, somewhere else we got a very clear idea about something. That is Python actually classified into two categories. Some people saying that Python is like core Python and advanced Python. But anyways, I want to tell you a few points here. So we're coming to the Python. Just to what you have friend in this, as we guys already we have seen, we have two parts like. So there is a something like core Python and advanced Python is there. So there is a something like core Python and advanced Python. But according to me, just I can say Python, that's it. But here and there, some people are saying that core Python and advanced Python, but leave it, no issue at all. So this is what your friend, well, coming to the core Python. In the core Python, mostly we are going to working with what your friend procedure-oriented capabilities and the scripting capabilities. So procedure-oriented capabilities and scripting capabilities we learned in the procedure, we learned in the core Python. Well, coming to the advanced Python, we are going to working with what your friend just here, working with what your friend oops. In this advanced Python, we are going to work with what your friend oops. Yes. But actually what is the oops means everyone knows well about the abbreviation object-oriented programming principles. Object-oriented programming principles. Some people saying that object-oriented programs. You don't worry. But here, I am requesting you, if anyone asks you what is OOPS means, better avoid that abbreviation. Better avoid the abbreviation. Rather, you better say what is OOPS means, the programs which are developed by using object-oriented principles. The programs which are developed by using object-oriented principles. Now, what are the object-oriented principles, my dear friend? Number one, encapsulation. Number two, inheritance. Number three, polymorphism. Number one is what? Encapsulation. Number two is what? Inheritance. Number three is what? Polymorphism. See, if anybody new to this object-oriented programming concepts, don't worry. But personally requesting you, 110% more attention is required to understand object-oriented programs very effectively. So, my dear friend, but as a part of our session in object-oriented program in advanced Python, working with what your friend oops. As I said you, what is the object-oriented programs? Number one, the programs which are developed by using object-oriented principles. What are the object-oriented principles? If you're already aware, that is what your friend, especially encapsulation. Number two is something like what your friend inheritance. Okay, inheritance. Number three is what your friend something like a polymorphism. That's okay, polymorphism. Encapsulation. Number two is a inheritance. Number three is a polymorphism. Now, what do you mean by encapsulation? Yes, okay. Today we are going to have what is encapsulation, how to achieve the encapsulation practically. Now, a lot of attention is required. So just before going to understand what is encapsulation, okay, what is encapsulation? But in the procedure-oriented programming, the best example for the procedure-oriented programming language is a C. Even Python is also provides what your friend procedure orientation capability. Don't get any confusion. Advantages of Python already we have seen. Python is a procedure-oriented. Python is object-oriented. Python is a scripting. That means Python will provide the procedure-oriented capabilities. Python will provide the support of object-oriented capabilities. Python even providing the capacity of scripting capabilities. So right, my dear, just kindly notice that. Here, simply I want to tell you. So in the procedure orientation, mostly logics are defined in the form of what your friend mostly in the procedure orientation. The mostly logics are defined in the form of what your friend in the form of functions. Example, if you want to find the addition of 2, you will be writing like this. So whatever the logic you want, that logic should be defined in the form of what your friend, that logic should be defined in the form of functions. In the procedure orientation. The logics will be maintained and manipulated in the form of what your friend function. Example, if you want to find the subtraction, same way you will be defining this way. But coming to what your friend s equal to x minus y, and finally we'll be writing some logic like this. So in the procedure orientation, the logics will be maintained and manipulated using in the form of what your friend just functions. Well, coming to the object orientation. In the object orientation, the logics will be maintained and manipulated. In the object orientation, simple. In OOPS, the logics, simple. The logics will be maintained. The logics will be what your friend just maintained. So logics will be maintained by using what your friend, by using the class and the objects, by using class and object. Right, okay? So my dear friend, just to kindly notice it, again I'm telling you, as a part of advanced Python, we people are going to learn how to work with what your friend OOPS. What is the OOPS here? The programs which are developed by using object-oriented principles. What are the object-oriented principles? Number 1, encapsulation. Number 2, inheritance. Number 3, polymorphism. Encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So ladies and gentlemen, you don't worry about any technical word. Just I will be covering everything very clear. Now you notice it. So but here one other point I want to tell you. So what is the encapsulation, sir? Yes, now I'm coming this one. What do you mean by encapsulation? So encapsulation is what your friend, in fact, the process of what your friend grouping. Process of grouping the data. Data is nothing but what your friend variables, and the process of grouping the data under what your friend, something like what your friend, just corresponding functions. Process of grouping the data required, process of grouping the data and the required functions, process of grouping the data and the required functions bind together. Bind what your friend, bind it together, then it is called as what your friend, encapsulation. Process of grouping the data and the required functions bind it together. So bind it together as a what your friend, just as a single, as a what your friend, just a simple, as a single unit, technically call it as what your friend, encapsulation. Encapsulation is a process of grouping the data and the required functions together as a single unit is technically called as what? Encapsulation. But ladies and gentlemen, now here I am saying you one small theory pictorial representation here. Some data. Data is nothing but moment only. I said you variables. Example, x comma y. Now these are called as what your friends, some variables are there. X comma y. But sir, now what is my intention here is, I want to define one function. My function is what your friend, ABC function is there. And assume that there is some logic here. Assume what your friend, there is some logic here with me. So next one, DEF, M and O function is also there, just for understanding sake, my dear. So just what your friend, there is one function is here. So this is what your friend, process of grouping the data and the required functions. Process of grouping the data and the required functions together, technically call it as what your friend, encapsulation. Simple. What do you mean by encapsulation? Process of grouping the data. Process of grouping the data and required functions together as a single unit, technically call it as what? Encapsulation. But friends, here I want to tell you one small point. So when I speaks about what your friend, object-oriented programs, what are the best example for the object-oriented program? Example languages for OOPS. Okay, example languages for OOPS is what your friend, just so many are there. Okay, so many. What are that generally? If you notice something like what your friend, just C++, next one is what your friend, VC++, the next one C#, Java, .NET, Android, and Python. And these all comes under what your friend, object-oriented programs only. But if you take any of these languages, You never find a keyword called encapsulation. You don't find the keyword called encapsulation. That means what? Encapsulation is just a theory representation. So my dear friend, just please give me a moment here. I want to show you. So just let me launch the Python. I'm just launching the Python. I want to show the list of keywords which are provided by your Python interpreter. I want to show the list of keywords which are provided by Python interpreter. In order to see the list of keywords provided by the Python interpreter, there is a one variable is what? KW list. In fact, this is what your friend predefined a variable from what your friend keyword module. This you need to understand. Okay, this is what your friend just a keyword module. This is a method. Okay, just what your friend KW list is a predefined variable from keyword module. But whenever you want to use anything from a module, make a habit to import the module first. Okay, just to be imported. And after that, what your friend, after importing the module, but we have to use a module name, then you need to write what your friend the variable. KW list. When you press enter, you guys are getting what list of keywords which are provided by the Python interpreter. But ladies and gentlemen, have you find any keywords here with the name called encapsulation? No. Because here in the list of keywords all always display in alphabetical order. You have seen that. Have you find any keyword like encapsulation? No, mind you, we didn't have. That means what? Just it is a theory. Encapsulation is a process of grouping the data and required functions together as a single unit. As a single unit. But how can we achieve, sir? How can I group the data and functions together as a single unit? By using a beautiful keyword called what your friend, beautiful keyword called class. Yes, now this is the way you have to define, gentlemen. That's enough. But as I said you, in other languages, we have something like open and closed curly braces are there. Example, if you are from C++ or from Java or from .NET or from .NET or from Android, I am saying. But okay, how you will be write the class sample? We will be writing like this only. That is a standardized syntax is provided for those languages. But in Python is not like that. As we seen very clearly, Python is a little different. Class space, class name, and instead of the class you can write it. So ladies and gentlemen, so now just to be understood right, encapsulation is practically possible by using a beautiful keyword called what your friend just a class. Now let me start now what is a class and what is object. So I hope now you understood, my dear. Very easy, very easy. So just what is a class, sir? What is object? Guys, now you need to pay more attention. I'm requesting all the participants here. So today, mostly we are going to have the beautiful discussion about working with what your friend, something like working with the class and the object. That's enough. Working with the class and object. Your attention is really precious, really matters. Kindly observe this. So now what is a class? In fact, the class is a what your friend, class is a keyword. That's enough. Class is a what your friend keyword. So what you can do with the help of the class keyword, we can define our own data type. We can define our own data type. Yes, class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type. We can define our own data type. So just why I'm saying like this, my dear friend, for easy understand, now x equal to 10. X equal to 10. But whenever you write a type of x, then what is the output you will be getting? Class int. Now what is that int? Int is a data type. But how the data type is created in Python? Using the class. Using what your friend class. We are requesting you, my dear, just understand the points technically. Somewhere you are writing y equal to 3.14 you are writing. Then when you are writing type of y, what you guys are getting? You will be getting what your friend class float. Now what do you mean by a float there? Float is a data type. But how that float data type is created? By using the keyword class. If you want, you can check them practically. Many times I was shown you very clear in my screen. Okay, anyways, if you want, even you can get this. Sir, I'm taking x equal to 10. Do I specify the type? No. Python variables are dynamically typed. Type of x. What do you see there? Class int. Then y equal to I am taking 3.14. Now what is the type of y? You will be getting class float. But okay, float is a data type. If you know already float is a data type. How the float data type is created in Python? The float data type is created by using the keyword class. What about the int? Int data type is created by using the class. Now this point is very clear. So okay, now that's what I'm saying you, my dear. Understand the points technically is not a great matter. So just working with the class and object. What is a class then? Class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, what we can do? We can define our own data type. We can define our own data type called what we say that? Called a user defined data type. Something like called what your friend user defined data type. So user defined data type. Yes. So class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type called what? User defined data type. Kindly observe this. In the class, we can define what? We can declare. Yeah, first I want to type. We can declare the variables. The variables which you are declaring in the class is called actually fields. The variables which are declared in the class is called what, dear friend? Fields. Okay, we can also define the function in the class. We can also define the functions in the class called what, dear friend? Just methods. That is the terminology you need to understand. I'm just telling you what are the possibilities. So my dear friend, the first point is what? Class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type called what? User defined data type. We can, in the class, we can declare variables. We can declare variables called what, your friend? Fields. In the class, we can also define the functions. We can also define functions in the class called what, your friend? Methods. But friends, here and there, sometimes I will be using the point like, okay, just actually fields are used to what, your friend? Fields are used to store the data. Fields are used to store the data. What is that now? Whereas methods are what, your friend? Methods are used to manipulate the data. Yes, manipulate the data. Yes, you need to fix that. In the class, we can declare variables called fields, which are used to hold the values. Of data. Whereas methods are used to manipulate the data. And here and one more point, but here and that sometimes I'll be using fields and methods are called what, your friend? Just called attributes of the class. Attributes of the class. My dear, terminology we are requesting. When I use attribute means it is a member of the class. It may be a field or it may be a method. Okay, but if I say specifically field means variable. If I say specifically method means method. If I say attribute, it may be the field or it may be the methods. This is the terminology is required. And another important point, my dear friend. So by default, the access modifier for all the members of the class is, do remember, public. But as I said you in the Python, kindly understand, in the Python, then access modifiers are there. Access modifiers. For what purpose? For providing data restrictions. To provide the data security. So they provided some access modifiers. But they are by using what, your friend? Just provide. They are by using what, your friend? Protected, and they are by using what, your friend? Public. But sir, do we have that keywords? No, Baba. We have some other alternative representation for them. That is what I am telling you. Once again, one special day, we are going to have the discussion about what, data abstraction. One fine day, we are going to have the lesson called what? Data abstraction. Up to that, you don't worry about it. Up to that, don't worry. This one, I want to cover you very clearly as a part of data abstraction. Up to that, I am requesting you, please just focus on these points. That's enough. So just finally, one other point you need to understand, gentlemen. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand one point. Sir, is it mandatory to define the both fields and methods in the class? No. No, it is not compulsory. I'm just telling you the possibility. We can define an empty class. A class can be empty. Yeah. We can define a class only with the fields. Yes. We can define a class only with the fields. Yes. We can define a class only with the methods. Yes. We can define a class empty. We can define a class only with the fields. We can define a class only with the methods. Even we can define a class both fields and methods. Both fields and methods. Don't worry about it. But if any question is there in your brain, sir, is it mandatory to have both fields and methods? Absolutely no. It's not compulsory. Yes, not compulsory. But this is all fine, sir. But how do I define the class and how to work with them? Let's have a look, my dear. Very easy. But I am requesting all the people what? Then before going to start working with the class, at least you should be in a position to speak about some points. What is the class there? That's okay. Can you please repeat? What is the class? Class is a keyword. With the help of what, dear friend? With the help of class keyword, with the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type. We can define our own data type called what? User defined data type. Yes, called what? User defined data type. In the class, we can declare variables called fields. Fields are used for what? Storing the data. Fields are used to hold the data. In the class, we can also define the functions. In the class, we can also define the functions. Called what now? That we can also define the functions called methods. But methods are meant for what? Manipulating the values. Fields are used to hold the values, whereas methods are used to what? Manipulate the values. Manipulate the values. But do remember, sir, is it mandatory to have the both fields and methods in the class? Absolutely no. I said you. In the class, we can declare only with the fields. In the class, we can define only with the methods. In the class, we can declare both fields and methods. If required, we can define a class empty. But ladies and gentlemen, if you write anything in the class, by default, there are which members? Public members. Public members. The default access modifier for the members of the class is public. But I was given another point, my dear friend. So the fields, just what I said is the variables and the methods. The variables and methods are the fields and methods commonly called as what? Attributes. Very, very frequently I am going to use the terminology, my dear friend. Sometimes I am saying fields. Sometimes I am saying methods. Sometimes I am saying attributes. Don't worry. Fields means exclusively variables. Methods means exclusively functions. Okay, just attributes means either of them, either fields or methods. So let me have some examples here. How do I work with that, ladies and gentlemen? These continuous sessions are really required. Once you're getting class and object, working with the object-oriented programs is not a great deal, my dear friend. So now we are pleasing you all. Kindly observe this. How to define the class. So we have a standardized and a prescribed approach is given. We have the standard and prescribed approach is given by the Mr. Guido van Rossum. The gentleman is the father of our Python, or we can say Python Software Foundation here. So just what is the syntax for defining the class? Very, very simple, my dear. We have to use the keyword class space. We have to write what now? Class name. Friend, I am very much happy to write what the starting letter of each word in capital. This is the naming convention suggested to follow. The starting letter of each word in the name of the class is suggested to write them in capital. Sir, what you can write, sir? Yes, I am telling you, my dear. In the class, we can declare what? Variables. So do remember, sometimes I am saying declare, sometimes I am typing define. What is the difference? Kindly notice it. Okay, just I am saying one point. We can also define what your friend functions. Define the functions. The variables which are declared in the class is called what your friend fields. The functions which are defined in the class is called what your friend methods. That's enough. So what is the difference between declare and define? So friend, kindly notice that define means if anything is having the body, if anything is having the body, we can say it as what? Define. See, function declaration or defining, are you defining the function or declaring the function? Unfortunately, some people, because of lacking their knowledge, lacking the terminology, they're telling what? Function declaration. No, my dear. Function declarations different, function definitions are different. Listen. See, if you write DEF, my add one function I am defining here. I am defining. Means I am writing some logic here. Yes, I am writing some logic. This is called what you have defining. Defining. So now what you are defining? Class is defining or declaring? Class is defining means we are writing something inside of it. But declare means what, dear friend? Simple. X equal to 10. This is what it is. Does it have any body? No. It is not having any body. Then you have to say declare. If anything is having the body, we can say it as what? Define. Declare the class? No. Define the class is yes. We have to define a class. We have to define a function. We have to declare the variables. Terminology I am requesting you, my dear. I hope you got the point, right? This is what the case. So just this is very simple. Now just we understood how to define the class. Yes, okay. But moment I said you, it is not compulsory to have the both fields and methods in the class. Both fields and methods, not compulsory to have the both fields and methods in the class. Not compulsory. Kindly notice that. Depends upon the need of an application. We are going to work with them. My dear friend, now I am doing with small example here. Example, sir, I am defining the class. Name of the class is sample. That's it. Sample. But here I am not writing anything. Empty class. You know that empty suit can be represented in Python using keyword pass. That means, this means what, dear friend? It represents, it is an empty class. It is an empty class. We didn't have any fields. But you guys kindly understand this. But here in this context, sir, pause is required to write in the next line. If you want, you can also write like this. Doesn't make any sense. Say, but anyways, this is an empty class. But my dear friend, but here is a sample is about, dear friend, sample is a simply user defined data type. That's enough. What is a sample is about, dear friend, user defined data type. We need to understand few points, my dear. Requesting you all the participants, lot of attention is required. So just now here I define what, dear friend, class. So just I define an empty class. And again here you need to understand few technical points. Few technical points. Here and there some people, what they are saying, you know, here and there some people are saying that, class is a what? A class is a template. Friend, we are not commenting anyone, but I am telling you, we have an alternative definitions are there for the class. Some people saying that what class is a template. Some people saying that class is a template. Some people saying that class is a logical representation. Some people saying that class is a collection of states and behavior. At the end of the day, all are the same. At the end of the day, all are the same, my dear. The class is a what, dear friend? Just a class is a simple, you can say. As per our discussion, class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type called what? User defined data type. That's it. But some other people in the market are saying a class is a collection of states and behavior. Don't get surprised. Class is a collection of states and behavior. Where states is nothing but what, you know? States is nothing but fields. That's what state is, nothing but fields. Behavior is nothing but what, dear friend? Methods, functions. One guy is saying that class is a what, dear friend? Template. Another guy may say that class is a collection of state and behavior. Some people saying that class is a what? Blueprint of an object. Class is a blueprint of an object. So we have the whole lot of terminologies there. Don't worry about that. What you understood is very important. You have to deliver this such a manner. If anyone question you, what is a class? Class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define our own data type called user defined data type. That's it. If you want, even you can say class is a template, class is a collection of states and behavior, class is a blueprint of an object. Whatever the definition you want, you can deliver in the interview chamber, which doesn't make any sense because all are the same. Yes. But my dear friends, now I want to tell you one small point now, but it's a very, very important. Class is a logical representation. It's a very important. Class is about logical representation. What do you mean by a logical representation? That means it is not occupy any space in the memory. Class is what? Class is a logical representation which is not occupy any space in the memory. Yes, this point you need to fix it in the brain. Class is a logical representation which does not occupy any space in the memory. Thus, it does not allow you to store the data. Thus, it does not allow you to store the data. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to create a physical representation for a class called an object. What is that? We need to create what? Physical representation for a class called an object. I repeat once again. Class is a logical representation which does not occupy any space in the memory. Which does not occupy any space in the memory, thus which does not allow you to store the data. Which does not allow you to store the data. Then in order to allocate the memory for the fields, mind this, my dear. In order to allocate the memory for the fields and to access the members of the class. Two reasons. To allocate the memory for the fields and to access the members of the class. We need to create a physical representation for a class called what? An object. Yes. Here and there some people are saying that again alternative definition. What is an object? Instance of a class. Even that is fine. Even that is fine. What is an object? Instance of a class. Come on. But as you are the beginner, you need to understand. So class is a keyword. With the help of class keyword, we can define what? We can define our own. We can define our own data type called user defined data type. The class is a logical representation. Class is a logical representation which does not occupy any space in the memory. Which does not occupy any space in the memory, thus it does not allow you to store the data. Does not allow you to store the data. Then, in order to allocate the memory for the fields, and to access the members of the class. In order to allocate the memory for the fields and to access the members of the class. Then we need to create a physical representation for a class. Called an object. Cool, my dear. Don't get any confusion. I'm requesting you. It's very easy. But need a lot of attention. But okay, sir. Then okay, just we didn't have any fields or methods in this class, sir. Of course. But slowly we will be taking them. Slowly. Now first have you understood what is an object here? Yes. Nice. But okay, what is the class? Class is a logical representation. Does not occupy any space in the memory. Thus it does not allow you to store the data. In order to allocate the memory for the fields and to access the members of the class, then we need to create a physical representation for a class called an object. Come on, we required what here, friend? An object. But then what is the syntax? How do I create an object for the class? Yes, how do I create an object for the class? Syntax is reference variable name or else variable name equal to. You have to write what your friend directly class name. Within the couple of parentheses, you have to write list of arguments. I said you, my dear friend, many times. If anything is taken in the square bracket, it represents what your friend optional. It is not compulsory. It is an optional thing. Yes, it's an optional thing, my dear friend. So this is a syntax for creating an object, but don't worry about this. I would like to tell you some points very effectively in that. So this actually, it is called as the constructor. Hey guys, whatever is taken within the, just what if from the class name to parenthesis, that is actually called constructor. Ladies and gentlemen, I am requesting. So now here I am writing, sir. Now yes, what is that? S equal to sample. Then Java, guys, Java is different. Python is different. This is the way you have to create an object. Yes, this is the what process of creating the object. Why should I create an object for the class? My dear, we need to speak 2 points. Sir, as we know that class is a logical representation, does not occupy any space in the memory, thus it does not allow you to store the data. In order to allocate the memory for the fields and to access the members of the class, we need to create a physical representation for a class called an object. That's it. But then how can you create an object? This is a syntax. So a variable equal to, or reference variable equal to class name within the couple of parentheses list of arguments. Yes. Now what you mean by this one? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is called constructor. Lot of new points are coming, my dear. Please take challenging. It's called constructor. What is a constructor then? So constructor is an initializer method. It is a one function only. It is a one function. But this is which function? Initializer function. Initializer function. Terminology, man. Constructor is an initializer function or method. Constructor is an initializer function which is used for object instantiation and object initialization. What is that? Constructor is an initializer method used for what? Object instantiation and object initialization. Object instantiation and object initialization. My dear, instantiation is nothing but creating an object. Instantiation is nothing but creating an object. Initialization is what? Assigning the values. Initialization is nothing but what? Assigning the values to the members of the class. Assigning the values to the members of the class. My dear, have a look now. Ladies and gentlemen, what I am saying is, when a constructor is an initializer method used for what? Object instantiation and object initialization. Where instantiation is nothing but what? Creating an object. Initialization is nothing but what? Assigning the values to the members of the class. But there is some technical definition is there that we will be discussing very effectively in the constructor chapter. Don't worry. So what is happens? What is happened now? When constructor is called, then what is happens internally? Ladies and gentlemen. Now this is very, very important, my dear. So this is very, very important because the future, writing this kind of things may be really tough for me again and again. That is the reason. Pay more attention and be honest about your career. This is what your friend, something like stack. Another one is what your friend heap will be there. In the memory, we have the different organizations are there. One is a stack organization is there. Another one is heap is there. So ladies and gentlemen, if you notice this, S is a what here friend, I am saying that reference variable, R variable, reference variable, R variable. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, now you need to understand what has happened now. For the reference variable, memory is allocated in the stack. Yes, kindly understand why I am writing all these things, because tomorrow onwards or next session onwards, I may not write all these things. I am requesting you all. Yes, sir, this is what your friend reference. For the reference variable, memory is allocated within the stack. For the reference variable, memory is allocated within the stack. What about this one, my dear? This is actually called as constructor. Actually, this is called as what your friend constructor. So whenever the constructor is called, then only an object of the class will be instantiated. Fix it in the brain. Blindly fix it. Whenever the constructor is called, then only an object of the class is instantiated. Wow. Where the object will be created, guys? the object will be created in the heap organization. Whenever the constructor is called now, then only an object of the class is going to be instantiated. Instantiated, created. Where it will be created? It will be creating. It will be creating an object in the heap. Oh, sir, what object is created? My dear lovely friends, you guys already aware. Many times I said you right. Sir, this is a what? It is an object of the class sample is created, man. Yes, that is a matter. Wonderful, wonderful. Object of the class is created. When the object will be created? Whenever the constructor is invoked. Kindly notice that whenever the constructor is invoked, then only an object of the class is instantiated in the heap. Then only an object of the class is instantiated in the what your friend heap. So now, but one other point you need to understand. For every object, PVM, Python Virtual Machine, for every object, PVM will provide unique identity. For every object, PVM will provide unique identity. That identity is something like what you know. What is that? Underscore main. That is hash code actually we can say. Underscore main underscore dot. Now which class object you created? Sample object is created. Yet sample object is created. You will be getting some hash code like this. Some hash code, man. I'm saying you kindly understand this is called hash code. Hash code is nothing but what your friend unique ID. One unique ID will be created. Okay, just what your friend unique ID is created. Unique ID. This unique ID is actually called as what your friend hash code we can say. This is what. But whenever the constructor is called, then object is created. For every object, the memory is always allocated within the heap. And for every object, PVM will provide unique identity called hash code, unique ID called hash code. And kindly notice that now this S is what your friend S is. S is a what reference? Kindly notice, man. So what you're doing, simply notice that, see, if you're writing x equal to 10 means what? If you're writing x equal to 10 means what? We are assigning 10 to the x. We are assigning 10 to the x. Such a manner, S equal sample means we are assigning sample object to what? Yes. We are assigning what? Sample object to yes. This is what? What is the sample object? Sample object is assigned to yes. That means this complete hash code will be there now. This complete hash code will be assigned to what your friend? Yes. Wonderful, man. Wonderful. This is what exact happens. Now, the S is what S is referred to the object. S is referred to the object which is referred. Now, S is referred to what your friend? Object. S is a what your friend? In fact, now in this particular context, S is a what now? Reference. In this context, S is a what? Reference. The most of the people are saying that S is an object. No. S is a reference. The reference is referred to the object by holding it's a hash code. S is the reference. The reference is always referred to the object by holding its hash code. Yes, by holding its hash code. Hash code. This is what exact happens internally when the constructor is called. My dear friend, then based on your application requirements, yes, based on your application requirements, you can create a number of objects. Yes, based on your application requirement, you can create what your friend, you can create a number of objects. Shall I go with one more? Why not? Not one more, many more you want. Okay, any more you want, you can go with that. Sir, I want to do something. Sir, something. Now S2 equal to what, sir? Again writing sample. Yes, my dear, don't worry about the semicolon. That is optional. Yeah, what I am doing, see, my dear friend, as you are the good developer, you guys already aware of, right? Assignment is always from right to left. Assignment always from right to left, right? Then what is happen? First right hand side operation will be done. Oh my goodness. Then what is going to be happens here? Sir, one other object. Sir, another object is created. Sir, another object is created. Yes, another object. So another object of what? Just another object is created, sir. Okay. Another object of which class? Don't worry. It is another object of the class. Another object of the class sample is created, sir. Yes, sample object is created. But ladies and gentlemen, for every object, the Python virtual machine will providing unique identity called as hash code. What is it now? Underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore. In fact, underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore represents what? Main module. If you're really serious about in my previous sessions like module, I said you about what is underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore, dot. Now the sample object. Yes, sample object, yet you'll be getting something. This is what your friends, some different unique ID you have noticed. That's what I said to you, my dear. For every object, for every object, then what your friend just PVM will provide what your friend unique identity. Call it as hash code. Okay, friend. Right answer operation is done. That is assigned to what your friend just okay. Now object is done, sir. This is assigned to S2. S2. Now what is the S2 here? Sir, S2 is a reference. For the reference variable, memory is always allocated where? In the stack. In the stack, my dear, don't get confused. In the stack. Now this, what is the reference? Reference is, name is what your friend? S2. S2. Where S2 is a what? Reference. Okay, kindly notice the diagram. What is this? Sir, just a S2. Constructor is called. Whenever the constructor is called, object is created. The object hash code is there now. That object hash code will be assigned to what your friend? S2. Awesome. S2 is the reference. Reference is referred to the object by holding its hash code. Reference variable is referred to the object by holding its hash code. By holding its hash code. Now you can see this. Ultimately, now in this context, S2 is a reference. Reference is referred to what your friend just now this object. Now in this particular context now S2 is about reference. This reference is referred to this object now. What I'm saying, reference is always referred to the object. Sir, now what is happened, sir? If you notice, my dear, all of you kindly notice that, sir, that is done. Sir, what happens if I write like this? Sir, print in the script statement. If you write print or else, then I say what your friend print a type of yes. Type of yes means immediately you guys are getting what, sir? It is an object of the class sample. Guys, you will be getting this way. Sir, if I print what, sir? Yes, then what you will be getting? Watch on the screen, man. What is there in the yes, sir? What is there in the yes, sir? You see this one. You see this one. What is there in the yes, sir? Now you can observe this. What is there in this means underscore underscore main underscore underscore dot now sample object yet sample object at some 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. This is what hash code. Yeah, this is what you'll get. This is okay. So that means what, dear friend, I will be showing you practically, don't worry. But I'm saying, right, whenever you print the reference, the reference is always print hash code of the object. So in this case, what is happened? Let me take moment, my dear. Print. So print. Then type of yes2. What you are getting, sir? Undoubtedly, you guys are getting class sample. That's it, my dear friend. Sir, if I print yes2, what you will be getting? Hash code of yes2. Watch on the screen now. What is the value of yes2? This is the value you will be getting. What is the value? Sir, underscore underscore main underscore underscore dot sample object yet. Sample object yet. Sir, 3 4 6 7 8. 6 7 8. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a virtual ID I was written. By the time of execution, you may get the different ID. Don't try to find the mistakeness. This is a virtual ID. I'm just telling you how the complete process is going to be done in the system while object creation. Now you can observe this. Now what is the difference between class and object? Class is a logical representation. Object is a physical representation. Very simple. That is the reason class is a blueprint of an object. Blueprint. It's a virtual one plan, blueprint that is not physically existed. The physical existency of the class is what? An object. Physical existence of the class is an object, my dear. I hope you guys got the point. Very simple, man. You decided to construct one building. You decided to, what your friend, construct a building. First, before going to construct the building, first you are going to get some blueprint. You are going to get some plan. Yes, the plan is considered as a class. The plan is considered as a template. Yes, but can you do anything with the plan? So with the help of plan, we can construct a building, but only the plan. Can you do anything? Only the plan we can't do. Can I sit in the plan? Can I sleep in the plan? Come on, man. That is it's a word now, logical, one idea, one imagination. For that imagination, you are constructing one building. That is an object. Got it? Simple. Plan is a what, your friend, class. Physical implementation of the plan is what? An object. Of building. The building is what, object. Likewise. Simple, I can say. Plenty of example, man. Very generic example I want to tell you, my dear. Just I am requesting you. I am requesting all the people. Can you please show me a person? Can you please show me a person means immediately you people are having a question. Which person do you want to see? Because the person has no shape, no size, no color, no height, no weight. Because I asked, sir, can you please show me a person? Immediately, as you are the smart gentleman or ladies and gentlemen, you immediately asking me, which person do you want to see, man? Immediately I am saying that Donald Trump, I want to see the Trump. Then immediately you will show me that physical structure, that gentleman. Is a what, dear friend, object of the class person. Obama. That's the what? Obama is another object of the class person. Shashi is an object of the class person. He's having some physical structure, having some weight, height, color, some structure. That is what physical existency is called, what, dear friend, an object. I hope you got it. Plenty. Now, person is a class. What are the objects for the class? Trump is an object. Obama is an object. Shashi is an object. Every physical human being is an object for the class person. Like that, based on your application requirements, you can create a number of objects for the class. My dear, I hope you got it. This is about what now? Class and object. Now, let's have one small experience first on this. Then we'll be going with some other new topic. Shall we have them in practical way? Come with me. Now, this is what exact the thing. Come on, gentlemen, easy, my dear. Yes, there is a one beautiful handsome gentleman is there in front of you. Kalam sir is also a great object. This is okay. Now you can observe this now. My dear friend, now you can go with this particular thing. I am opening what, dear friend, just your Python IDLE. Python IDLE. Sir, I want to go with what, your friend, file new. I want to just write one new file, sir. Yes, my dear, just it is a what now? Simple class sample. But what do you plan to write anything? I am not having any plan. Just I want to define an empty class. Time being. Later part of time will be increasing what is a fields, what is the methods and all. Don't worry about it. I'm requesting. Cool. Now this is a class. It is a physical or logical? Completely logical. What you can do with that? Nothing. I can do nothing with the only class. Only class I can do nothing. Then we require to create what? Physical representation of the class. This is what physical representation of the class. Then what I am writing, sir, then is equal to what, sir? Sample. Then what exact happened? As per the discussion, now this object is created. Yes, this object is created. Sir, but this whenever the object is created, for this object is having some hash code. This hash code is assigned to what, your friend, reference. What is the reference here? Yes, my goodness. My goodness, let's have a look here. Then print. Type is, what is the type, man? As I said, you type of, yes, sir. Immediately you will be getting something, guys, don't worry. Then class, sample. But here and there, if you get like this, don't worry, underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore, dot sample. Don't get confused. This moment, this is a what your friend class name, this is a module name. This is what your friend module name. Module name. Which module? Main module. But okay, just okay, don't worry. But I'm very much fascinated to write like this. Now, sir, I want to run this. Before this, sir, what is that now? Hash code of yes, sir. Yeah, go with that. Yes, sir. So, friend, as I said, you'll be getting something like this. Underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore, dot, sample object, yet, you'll be getting some different hash code, my dear. Just this is something like, there is some hash code you will be getting like this. Some idea, I'm saying, some idea, some roster. Like this, what your friend, some hash code you will be getting. Isn't it? Really? Yes. But if you want to run the script, you have to save this. Go to what your friend file menu. I want to save in a separate folder tray. So just I want to go with what any location you want, you can save, doesn't matter, but I'm following some standard. You need to write. The folder is what your friend here, Python Online. Yeah, my dear, Python Online. We created Python Online 9. In this, I want to go with something like advanced. That is what your friend, advanced underscore Python. This is a folder. In the advanced folder, I want to create a topic called class and object. Yes, any location will be fine, man. Just I am following neatly. What is it now? Just a demo one. Yes, demo1.py. Extension for Python script file is py. Anywhere you want, you can save it, man. Don't worry. Then go to the run menu. Click on run module. That's enough. Beautiful, beautiful. You've seen this. Awesome. Awesome. Sir, what is it? You create an object of the class sample. The sample is a word class name. What is this? It is a module name, man. Module name. Module name you are getting. Module name. In order to get this idea, you should be very clear with my modules session. I said you modules very effectively. In that lesson, I discussed with you very clearly what is underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore. Good, Jan. If you notice that hash code of yes, sir, underscore, underscore, main, underscore, underscore, dot sample object, some hash code you will be getting. Sir, can I create one more object? As I said to you, any number of objects you want, you can. Sir, just one line, sir, one line. Just a string into 30 means what your friend, that is that hyphen will be repeated for 30 times. You guys already learned in string manipulations. Okay. Sir, I want to go with something like sample, sir. Sample, one more. Now it is what your friend S2. Sir, now you can observe again. Type is what your friend type of is. Type of is something like what your friend, just I want to go with class. Now this is the way we are taking sample. So just as I said you, but moment back even I was written, but don't get any confusion. Main underscore underscore dot. That is a module name. Module name. In the next line already I was written, don't worry. Then print it. Sir, what is the hash code? Hash code of yes2 set. Come on, yes2. Then what you will be getting? Underscore underscore main underscore underscore dot sample object yet sample object at 1 2 3 4 5 5 6 6 7. You will be getting the same? No, because every object will have the unique identity. Every object will have the unique identity. Let me run. Let me run. So just I want to go with something like this. I want to go something like this. Okay, go to what your friend, go to the run menu. Go to the run menu, click on what your friend run module. Then you will be getting that. Yes. Now how many objects you created? You created 2 objects. So you created 2 objects of which class? Sample class only. This is a way, my dear. This is all about what your friend just creating the class and object. I hope you really got the clarity about what is a class, what is the object. Why should I create an object for the class? I hope you got it. Clear, right?